Warning! Graphic pest control video ahead. Do not watch if you might be offended. If, however, you really like watching pest control videos, then hello again and welcome to the Squirrel Hunter channel. Please continue and watch us as we control pest populations with silenced air rifles here in the UK. If you have any questions, can you please check the description below first to see if it's already been answered and for some useful links. Thank you. This video, it's myself and Bro on a few sessions at the Pick Your Own Farm. This is Bruv on a solo mission today. He's leaving his house, and that's the sort of time in the morning we're getting up at to make our way out. First light pretty much. We'll walk down his garden path. He's got some non-essential kit already in the car, taking his gun there and his bag. He's pulled up where the feeder's sighted on these old telegraph poles. In a bit to draw the squirrels from the hedge line out till we can shoot them on the feeder. Not far from the strawberry rows. He's sat up against them in his pop-up hide. He's armed with his favourite feeder rifle, the Daystate Harrier X in .22 calibre, launching his favourite pellet, the Power Pal from Webley. Mr. Pheasant first to visit. Quite a few pheasants around here. There's shoots nearby. This farm doesn't raise them. You hear another cock pheasant make a challenge. That one go immediately on alert. Then hunker down and run down the bank. I'm not sure if it's running towards that other pheasant or away from it. It definitely elicited a reaction. I'm sure it was coming to look for some free food under the feeder. I'm waiting for a squirrel now. They come out that hedgerow, and the hedgerows go all the way around the farm. They're very tall, very thick, full of ivy. There's drays dotted around, it's almost impossible to see them. This is why we use feeders. We chase them around all day long and never get anywhere near as many as you will with a feeder and a hide. You also get positive ID of anything coming in, and only the things you want removed get removed. There's a squirrel over to the left. It's not made it in picture yet, that's why the camera's rolling. It will be coming into view in a minute. The sun tracks from the side to the left there. Track around behind the feeder as it gets on in the morning. That's pretty much the south. You'll hear there's a little bit of wind about, but otherwise it's not a bad day. Bro's just panned over a little bit. This one's taking its sweet time coming in. Don't know why it's the first squirrel to the feeder today. Whether it spotted the hide, I don't know. Doesn't tend to worry them that much. But it is making its way towards the feeder. A few tail flicks there. Normally a sign of agitation. But it's still coming towards the feeder. That's more like it. As per usual, when we've got a lid on a feeder, we'll tend to scatter a few grains on the ledge, attract a few birds in, get a bit of activity going on the feeder. If that doesn't happen, there's a few there. Generally the squirrels will come and eat them. You might have heard the scope cam beep on. Unfortunately, file was corrupt, so I can't show it to you. But I've got the main camera footage. Works perfectly well. That one sat on the top of there. So asking for trouble if it sits still. Perfectly good shot there. Straight to the ground, a bit of kick in. That's pretty much how quiet the rifle is, with the Virac silencer on. That's kicked and rolled down to the right because the hill goes that way. Nothing wrong with shot placement. He only got one this day. He had to get his session short because there was farm workers about 100 yards away. Well, that's no good for our squirrel shooting, but we have to work around the farm and their activities. So we decided to move that feeder to a different location, away from where they mostly work. We chose the bottom end of the hazelnut orchard from where the other feeder is I normally shoot. I scoped this location out and got Bro to come along and have a look, see what he thought. This is a stump, believe it or not. Quite a tall stump, it's been chopped off. We shaved a few more of the branches off. It's not a problem as it's dead anyway. We agreed we'd mount the feeder on the front of that. Bro would sit up in amongst the hazelnut trees and take a shot at any squirrel that sat on the ledge. Incidentally, if you look over the back there, that's where Brev's feeder is. You've seen in previous editions, he's on the back of a 400-acre wood, and that's the one, looking directly towards where he is. As per usual, when we go out together like that, walk the dog, let him have a run around. I thought I'd show you this before I go any further. It's one of the places the owner's got his bees. Very important to fertilisation. For all the lovely produce they grow. Hopefully they won't cause us any bother. Not like the evil wasps. Very useful creatures, bees. Now the feeder's up, I'll check it periodically to see what the level's like and try and judge whether it needs shooting. You can see that little pieces have been chipped away by the sharp squirrel teeth. I go up to check the feeder. I normally shoot at the top by the cherry trees. Everything's hunky-dory, beautiful view from the top of the hill. All them cherry trees there, starting to bear fruit, cropping really well. All green at the moment, but they soon turn lovely and cherry red, which is rather obvious, I know. I've gone home, I've rung up Bro, told him there's an opportunity to shoot some squirrels here. We've turned up first thing next day. This is what you should be doing when you go around your permissions. It's paying attention to what's happening. You see these rabbits in this spot here, seen them here before. If you keep seeing them in one place, then you need to arrange a visit. It's all part and parcel of knowing your permission, and it does breed success. Anyhow, it's quite easy to drop Bro off. There's a pheasant already there. He's in his hide, I'm in mine. I'll show you what happens with him first thing. I'm going to play with his camera. Gorgeous little view across the valley floor there. There's quite a lot of crops being farmed in this area. That's what mankind does to feed itself. And rather unfortunately for the animals that are around the area, they see this artificial glut as free food, whereas humans want to keep it for themselves. And there's that stump, bit of a long one. That's where Bro's sitting, up in amongst the trees. Fortunately, there's been one cut down, so it makes a beautiful spot to look through and see the feeder. That's the angle he's looking at. One sits on that feeder. It's got a nice tree, solid backstop behind it. Got some pheasants coming in now. Let's turn the camera on. There's a few pheasant shoots in the near vicinity. All the ones that tend to wander out usually find their way to places like this. Lots of food around here. There's a field of wheat directly behind growing. Pretty birds of pheasants, as I've said before. This male here. Lovely colours. But probably the stupidest creatures I've ever met in my life. There's his girl. A little bit of a lane down the back of there. But there won't be anything down there if there's any squirrels on the feeder. And here we have a squirrel on the feeder. Right on cue. Sat on the top and you can hear the scope cam go on, which I'll show you in a second or two. There we have it. Picked up the target. Just about. Quite difficult sometimes to track them. Rather unfortunately for this squirrel, it's in Bro's sights now. He's got to sit on that feeder, sit up and take a feed. He gets a parapel straight in the top of the head. Straight to the ground. The trouble with this is got a bit of a slope there. Could almost do with a body stopper. You can tell by the reaction and you can see what's happening in the grass just about. It's a perfectly good shot. I'm sat on the other feed at this point, haven't seen one yet. From memory. I get a text in a minute telling me he shot one. He spots a squirrel over to his right. There it is. He did wonder what was going on. He's looking at it and he could see it chewing the bark and licking sap. Sat very still at the moment, but there's no way he can turn his rifle round and get a shot on that. He's got the camera cranked right round. This is exactly why we want rid of them. The damage they do to trees. They'll pull off the bark with their teeth and lick that nice sugary sap. And then diseases get in and damage the trees, or maybe even kill them. If this has happened to be on a place where the trees are being grown as a crop, one that doesn't mature for say 15 to 20 years, and suddenly your crop starts to get damaged by these little furry monsters, you'd probably get a bit annoyed as well. It's actually got him just about make it its tongue on a couple of bits. If you can keep it on there. That's what it's doing anyway. It's on a little branch this time. If they get on a bigger tree, like a fruit tree, and they take that bark all the way around the outside, they will actually kill the whole tree. More often than not, they damage the tree and let diseases in. You get dead branches, fungal spores landing on there and taking hold on the tree, which is a slow death of the tree, which never would have happened if the squirrels weren't here. A bit more pheasant action. I sped this right up now, 5 times speed. Unusual to see the females come in first, usually a male first of all. The male's not far behind her. He's got another girl with him somewhere. What tends to happen, the females tend to fill their face, the male tends to stand guard. Quite interesting behaviour. Sounds a bit weird now I sped it up, I know. Bro did film them for quite a while. He's finally having a feed now the females have wandered off. Gotta look out for males to steal his girls off him. They tend to mop up the spilt grain from the squirrels. This has got quite bare under here now. There's a bit of a gap on the hopper, which needs to be attended to. It's only stuck there. There's a tester. You see he's got his ears up. Not really ears. They look like it though. Good close up from Bro there. Such pretty colours. Breeding season for these anyway now. All coupled up. But they're not on our menu. That was just the one for Bro. You see the way they scratted away at the grass underneath. Over to me. They've been rapid with the sniper cam. Launching the Predator Polymag shorts, which I've grown to really like lately. I've had no luck. Well, Bro had the one on the ground. He had the one down. And it all went quiet for him. This is me on setup. As you can see my little spinner up there. If you watch the other videos you'll see it rip round in a minute. I'll take a couple of test shots. I haven't really focused the sniper coming very well there. If you can reliably hit something that target size, you should be able to kill a squirrel. If you can't do that, then pack up and go home. That's more like it. 2 hits, that'll be good enough then. I'm just going to sit down and wait for them to turn up. You can hear a bit of activity in the distance. A tractor somewhere, but it doesn't normally affect them. They're used to vehicles around here. That's something else I've noticed. This is King of the Hill coming out. It does sound a bit weird, the tractor in the distance. I say distance, it's over the back of the hedge from me, 100 yards away, on a different permission. Almost sounds like the pheasant's got a motor. That's him telling everyone down the hill, watch out, I'm the boss round here. You hear this all over the place throughout the day in these locations. As per usual, this squirrel's come out of nowhere. It's the trouble with the foliage, you can't see them come in sometimes. I've looked up and he sat straight on the feeder. Probably come down the tree. Set up feeding. I'm going to reach for the rifle. Fire up the sniper cam. I'm going to get it mounted and locate the squirrel in the crosshairs. There we go. You can see him perfectly well now as soon as he sits up. That'll do. Bit of a shimmy. Let's get nice and stable. There we go. Straight between the eye and the ear. 2.2 polymags do an excellent job at this range. This one has a bit of a kickabout. There we go. What's going on there? Zombie squirrel frightened Mr. Pheasant. Does look on with wonderment at what's going on with this squirrel. How dare he? Creaking about on the chair a bit, but that squirrel's dead. Pretty much instantaneous. Instant brain death. You can see the link in the description as to why they kick on the Ted's videos. I've taken to zooming in lately on a lot of these. Just to double check. Not seeing any movement. No heart and lung activity. Looks like the back of his neck's had a good pluck in. Maybe he's not as tough as I thought he was. Maybe he's all cluck and no action. Here comes another one. Or is it the same one? Can I get a look at the back of his neck? Yeah, it is the same one. Still chops in from the top of the hill. See the bald patch on his neck. Make an awful lot of noise there. I'm busily filming that one. As soon as he disappears off, a squirrel turns up. And again, Sue spilt grains on the floor. So having a good sniff about. Fortunately, the other squirrel's kicked off to the right a bit. I think it's much better when they move away from the bottom of the feeder rather than being in sight. As per usual, that one goes around the back. I've got the sniper cam turned on now, so I'll get the rifle up. Wait for that squirrel to come down and sit on that feeder. May have seen in previous vids woodpeckers coming in and pecking at this little hole on the back edge of that feeder lid. Been chewed up by squirrels in the past. It's munching away, this squirrel is. Rather than going to the hopper, you can clearly see it's chewing on my feeder, which is rather annoying. I can actually hear it. That's enough of that, Mr. Squirrel. As the pellet hits him right in the base of the ear. I'll have to do something like that lid. The ever-present pheasant goes wandering in. Now I've seen that bit of feathers missing off the back of the neck of the one. I'm maybe wondering whether or not that's the same one. If he's got a girl, maybe he's tougher than I thought he was. That squirrel isn't. So it's 2-1 up to me today. After a good early start from Bro, he didn't get any more opportunities. Mine was a slow start. Only got 2. The trouble with this place is the hedgerows dotted around. There's lots of natural food in between. It's getting them to come to the feeders in the area you're on. And like a woodland, which seems to be much better for feeder activity. That lame kick tells me the pellet's found his mark. That's just nerves. Another one down to the polymag rapid combo. Just give it a long look, because you sometimes get a bit of delay. No delay this time. There we go. Ripping a hole in my lid. Penalty is death. Sun's come up now. There's a few flies in the air and bits of debris falling down, and I've given up for the day. That's the first one I shot and kicked to the right. That's Mr. Lid Licker, or Chewer even. Lots of flies this time of year. That's the polymag off the first one, it's gone straight through. Hit the backboard and dropped there. You can see full of squirrel hair in the hollow point bit. It wasn't the head that caused it to mushroom, that was hitting the metal, but the damage was done. Let's have a closer look at squirrel number 1. I've hit it right between the eye and the ear there. Quite clearly come out the other side, somewhere in amongst all that blood. No more lid chewing for you fella, right under the ear. The angle the head was at, it's gone into the brain, killing it stone dead. Quite happy with that shot. So just the 2 for me today. There they are on top of a bag with a lovely Mark 1 Rapid, and you can see the cherries are starting to get nice and ripe now. On another occasion, a bit further on in time, I've gone to check the feeder. You can see that gap I was talking about. Levels dropped, but it hasn't all gone through there. On approach first thing in the morning, there's a load of feral pigeons on that roof. I've got another video of us shooting ferals, but for the moment they're safe. I'm sat on this feeder because Bro can't come. I'm listening to the magpie calls. As I said before, you've got to pay attention to your surroundings when you're out. This wood, I've heard these magpies down this end a lot. There's a lot of pigeon activity down here and a lot of crow activity. So I'm thinking of targeting this come the colder weather, sticking some bait out and trying to get me some corvids. They tend to hang around this area for some reason, I'm not sure why. Maybe it's territorial, but I've made a mental note of this now. So we'll see in future. I haven't actually shot it yet. See in future if I'm correct in my assumptions that this would be an area to target with a bait like a dead rabbit or something. Try and catch up with some of them. Like I say before, it's me on the trigger today. I'm busily looking out into the distance. I'm seeing pigeons sat on wires eyeballing the crops at some distance, bearing in mind I've got a shotgun certificate coming my way, hopefully. So this place we're hoping to do a bit of shotgun shooting on, try and clear some of these pigeons out, at least put the wind up a bit. There's quite a lot here, and their numbers could do with reducing. But I'm taking a mental note of these things. Like I said before, these are the things that will bring you success with your pest control activities if you know where you see them. There's a squirrel already on the feeder here. He's got at the back of that tree line and ran up the tree before I had a chance to get the camera on it. The sniper cam's in evidence today. Same combo as the other ones I've been using. Mark 1 Rapid, Predator Polymag shorts. That's my first squirrel off this feeder. Down on the deck. Here comes squirrel 2. It's going to have a mess about this one by the look of it. There's one on the deck already. It's quite common they'll look at them. There it goes. It's alright for me. It's preoccupied with that. I can get away with moving. Its occupation of its brain is taken up by the one on the floor. By the time it sits back up, anywhere near shooting, I'll be ready for it. Here we go. I sat on the side of the tree and I'm expecting it to come and sit down and take some food. It's having a good sniff about. I did bump one squirrel off this feeder when we got here first thing. The gates were locked. The automatic timer had been taken out by a paracut, so I couldn't get in. Not when I wanted to anyway. Sits nice and still now, so I take aim. Catch a nice shot to the head. The way it spasms there and kicks, I decide I'm going to have to go and check it. And this is immediately after the shot. I've broken cover, both dead as doornails in the lane, so I lift the pair of them, put them behind the hide, Doesn't pay to put dead squirrels this time of year in your hide, so it tends to attract flies. If you want to sit in a hide full of flies, put them inside by all means. If I put them behind, they're out the sight of the other squirrels. Just a little top tip for you there. If ever you decided to pick the squirrels up and move them, not so much of a problem with the cold weather. Here's squirrel number 3 sitting on the feeder. Another one that's come straight in, caught me unawares. I'm taking aim. Quartering towards me, shot. Pellet's gone straight through the brain. There's squirrel 3 on the deck. I actually go out and remove that squirrel immediately and get back in the hide. Here comes squirrel 4. Nothing on the deck, and this one's come running straight in. No messing. I haven't had a long time to wait between these squirrels. 10 minutes, even though I broke cover. I'll line up on this one, that'll do. You can see the way they switch off. The pellet does dump an awful lot of energy by the seams of it. A lot of damage. I've been out and picked that one up. And I've resigned myself to looking at pigeons again. That's 4 on the deck. There's some flapping behind me. I've got the camera virtually over my head filming this. It's quite steady considering I've done it that way. More pigeons. You can hear more magpie activity. It's definitely an area I'm going to have to target. I've had quite a long wait now. Another squirrel's come in. This is squirrel 5. Thought I might see more youngsters than this. There's a pigeon directly above my head virtually. Or at least a tree over. I think this might be a bit more than just a squirrel shooting location. Especially in the months where the squirrel feeder isn't doing the business because of the natural food being out. We should be targeting an awful lot of creatures in this area. It's going up to the top of the stump. And that for this squirrel is a bad place to sit. So I'm going to line up on him and shoot him on the top of there. And that one's dropped and got caught in the branches at the back. Find him in the crosshairs again, reloaded, just in case it needs another shot. See the blood dripping from its nose. Quite a good flow going on there. Lots of damage done by the pellets. It manages to drop out now. I was tempted to go out and pick it up. Zoom in just to catch it slump to the floor. And that's the last one of the day. So 5 for my first visit to this feeder. I'm quite happy with that. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, subscribe and share. Thank you.